Hello everyone. Hello guys. Just what time it is. It is story time with Miss Doris. I am so excited to be reading you guys an awesome story on today. Today we have 3 short stories in which we are going to be reading for you on today. I am so excited. I'm going to go ahead on and get started. I would like to greet everyone all over the world. I would like to say hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and to some, good night. Someone is going to bed somewhere in the world, but guess what? You are just in time for story time with Miss Doris. We have 3 short stories we're going to be reading on today. The first one is going to be The Fall of Jericho. And the second story is going to be Samson and his great strength. Samson and his great strength. And the last story we are going to be reading is Naomi and Ruth. Remember, today is Wednesday. On Wednesdays or our Christian days. I'm so excited. I'm going to go ahead on and get started. Shout outs to all of you out there in Storytime land. Hello guys and welcome to Storytime with Miss Doris. To all of our new followers, I appreciate you guys. I'm so excited to be reading you guys a live story on today. I hope you enjoyed today's 3 short stories. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to Women Helping Women, entrepreneurs. Hello guys. I appreciate all of you guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all of you guys. And welcome to Storytime with Miss Doris. I'm so excited. Guess what? Our goal was to meet 1,000 followers by my birthday, which is September 6th. And as of this morning, as of a few seconds ago, I checked to see how many followers we are up to. And guess what? We are up to 967 followers. 967 followers. I'd like to give a shout out to Women in Women Business Community. Hello guys, you ladies are awesome, phenomenal women. I appreciate you guys. Hello Miss Nina, singing and blinging, paparazzi, cherished Jews. Hello. Well, guess what? Let's go ahead on and get started. I know you guys are ready for that Storytime song, but remember, when we're doing that Storytime song, always make sure that you are practicing safety first. Today's color is going to be the color pink. Today's the color pink. Miss Doris is wearing pink, and pink. And our Muppet friend is going to be Miss Piggy. Miss Piggy is our Muppet friend on today, and she is the color pink. There go that Storytime song. I love that song. It's Storytime. Storytime with Miss. It's Storytime. Storytime with Miss Doris. It's Storytime, guys. I'm so excited to be reading all of you a story on today. Tell you all just what to do. Sing to you. Tell you all just what to do. It's Storytime. I'm so excited to be reading all of you guys, especially our new followers, a story on today. Welcome to Storytime with Miss Doris. Storytime. She'll read to you, sing to you, tell you all just what to do. Wow, you guys are awesome. And to all of our new followers, guess what? Excuse me. It's okay if you don't know the song just yet. I know eventually you are going to get it. Let's get started with our stories. Go ahead on and have a seat, moms and dads and nanas and papas, while Miss Doris read our children a story on today. I'm so excited. So excited. Sing to you The Fall of Jericho. Let's see what this story entails. The Fall of Jericho. After 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, the Israelites crossed the Jordan River into the land of God had promised. Let me turn the music down just a tad bit. I do own the copyrights of the song playing in the background. After 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, the Israelites crossed the Jordan River into the land God had promised them. But before they could settle in their land, they had to defeat their enemies and capture the cities. Now Jericho was tightly shut up because of the Israelites. No one went out and no one came in. The Lord said to Joshua, "See, I have delivered Jericho into your hands along with its kings and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of rams, horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, with the priests blowing the trumpets." So Joshua, son of Nun, called the priests and said to them, "Take up the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and have 7 priests carry trumpets in front of it." And he ordered the people, "Advance, march around the city with the arms and guard going ahead of the ark of the Lord." So he had the ark of the Lord carried around the city, circling it once. Then the people returned to camp and spent the night there. On the 2nd day they marched around the city once and returned to the camp. They did this for 6 days. On the 7th day they got up at daybreak and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner, except that on the day that they circled in 7 times, the 7th times around. When the priests surrounded the trumpet blast, Joseph commanded the people, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." When the trumpet sounded, the people shouted, and at the sound of the trumpet, when the people gave a loud shout, the wall collapsed. So every man charged straight in, and they took the city. Then they burned the whole city and everything in it, but they put the silver and gold and the articles of bronze and iron into the treasure of the Lord's house. But Joshua spared Rahab, the prostitute, with her family and all who belonged to her, because she hid the men Joshua had sent as spies to Jericho, and she lives among the Israelites to this day. It's story time. Story time with Miss. It's story time. Story time with Miss. The next story we're going to be reading is Samson and his great strength. Samson and his great strength. Samson led Israel for 20 years in the days of the Philistines. Sometime later, he fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The rulers of the Philistines went to her and said, "See if you can lure him into showing you the secret of his great strength, and how can we overpower him, so we may tie him up and subdue him. Each one of us will give him 1,100 shekels, 28 pounds of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of the great strength, and how you can be tied up and subdued." Samson answered her, "If anyone ties me up 7 flesh thongs that have not been dried. I'll become as weak as any other man. Oh my goodness, Samson, you told your secret. There goes Samson. It's story time. Story time with Miss. Then the rulers of the Philistines brought her 7 fresh thongs that had not been dried, and she tied him with them, with men hidden in the room. She called to them, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. But he snapped the thongs as easily as a piece of string snaps when it comes too close to a flame. So the secret of his strength was not discovered. Then Delilah said to Samson, you have made a fool of me. You lied to me. Come on, tell me how can you be tied, he said. If anyone ties me secretly with new ropes that have never been used, I'll become as weak as any man, as any other man. So Delilah took new ropes and tied him with them. Then with men hidden in the room, she called to him, Samson, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. But he snapped the ropes off his arms if they were threads. Story time. Goodness, it's story time. Delilah then said to Samson, until now you have been making a fool of me and lying to me. Tell me, how can you be tied? He replied, if you weave the 7 braids of my head into the fabric on the loom and tighten it with the pin, I'll become as weak as any other man. So while he was sleeping, Delilah took the 7 braids of his head, wove them into the fabric, and tightened it with the pin. Again she called to him, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He awoke from his sleep and pulled up the pin and the loom with the fabric. Then she said to him, how can you say I love you when you won't confide in me? This is the 3rd time you have made a fool of me and haven't told me the secret of your great strength. With such nagging she prodded him day after day after day until he was tired to death. Story time. He told her everything. No razor has ever been used on my head, he said, because I have been a Nazarite set apart to God since birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man. When Delilah saw that he had told everything, she sent word to the rulers of the Philistines. Come back once more. He has told me everything. So the rulers of the Philistines returned with the silver in their hands, having put to sleep on her lap. She called a man to shave off the 7 braids of his hair. And so she began to subdue him, and his strength left. Hello, Shekinah. Hello, Shequavia. Then she called Samson, the Philistines. Samson, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He awoke from his sleep from his sleep and thought, I'll go out as before and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Oh my goodness, Samson. There is the shaver where they shave his head, and there is Samson, 7 braids down at the bottom. Now he has no strength. Oh my goodness. The Philistine seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him down to Gaza, binding him with bronze shackles. They set him to grinding in the prison, but the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. Now the rulers of the Philistines assembled to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon their god and to celebrate, saying, Our God has delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands. While they were in high spirits, they shouted, Bring out Samson to entertain us. So they called Samson out of the prison, and he performed for them. When they stood him among the pillars, Samson said to the servants who held his hands, Put me where I can feel the pillars that support the temple, so that they may lean against them. Now the temple was crowded with men and women. All the rulers of the Philistines were there. On the roof were all about 3,000 men and women watching Samson perform. Then Samson prayed to the Lord, O sovereign Lord, remember me. O God, please strengthen me just once more, and let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes. Then Samson reached toward the 2 central pillars on which the temple stood, bracing himself against them, his right hand on one and his left hand on the other. Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines. Then he pushed with all his might and down the temple on the rulers and on all the people in it. Thus he killed many, many more. When he died, then while he lived. Shall read to you, sing to you. There goes Samson, standing in between the 2 pillars. Oh my goodness, Samson. The next story we're going to be reading is our last story, is Naomi and Ruth. Naomi and Ruth. In the days that the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech. His wife's name was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were the Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite woman, one named Orpah and the other named Ruth. After they lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. When she heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, Naomi and her daughter-in-laws prepared to return home from there. With her two daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her two daughter-in-laws, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show kindness to you, as you have shown to your dead and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them, and they left, wept aloud, and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." Story time with Miss. It's story time. But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then give birth to sons, would you wait until they grow up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters. It is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hands has gone out against me." As they wept again, the Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to the people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, but it ever so severely, if anything but death separates you and me." When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. Eventually, Ruth married a man named Boaz. God blessed Ruth with a son who became grandfather of the great King David. Wow, how awesome. God is so amazing. God is so amazing. Those are three awesome short stories. I enjoyed those three stories. Thank you so much for tuning in with Storytime with Miss Doris. Don't forget, today's color was the color pink. Today's color was the color pink. And our Muppet guest friend for today was Miss Piggy. And Miss Piggy is the color pink. You guys are awesome. You sat so attentively while Miss Doris read you a story. Remember, guys, if you're not feeling well, always let mom and dad know, or someone knows that you are not feeling well. And they will take really good care of you. And when you're out and about playing with your toys, or in your room, or at the park playing on the merry-go-rounds, or the swing sets, or the slides, make sure you are washing and sanitizing your hands at all times. We don't want you guys getting sick. And remember, we are still practicing safety first. So when you're out in public, make sure you are still wearing your mask. Don't take your mask off unless someone tells you to. You guys are awesome. I enjoyed reading you a story on today. Don't forget, share story time. We are almost to our mark of 1,000 followers. I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited. I appreciate all of you guys. Share it with your family and friends. If they don't have time reading to the children, guess what? Storytime has over 300 live stories that we have housed on our YouTube channel. You can pick out your favorite story. Subscribe to our Storytime YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you're not having a good day on today, remember, smiles are very, very important. I have an important smile for you today from Miss Storytime and Miss Piggy. I hope you, once you see our smile, that you are smiling on today. Have a blessed day, and remember, God loves you. You are loved on today. Take care. Don't forget to smile. I love all of you.